Access to exercise in people with spinal cord injury is something that's always on our radar, and that not all gyms are designed for people with spinal cord injury in mind. That being said, there are a lot of pieces of equipment that we can use in a typical gym. So many people with spinal cord injuries may have difficulty with hand function, so grip during exercise is an important consideration. So you might use adaptations like using things really inexpensive would be things like a tensor band. There are also commercially available grip assistance gloves that you can purchase. Tensor bandages, readily available. You can find one at your local drugstore. They're very inexpensive. One of the ways that we can use a tensor bandage to assist with grip, let's say, for example, we're using an arm ergometer. You can wrap the tensor while the individual is gripping the bar.
I probably use the Monarch, the arm cycle, the most. I pretty much, every time I come, I do at least almost 40 minutes. That's my cardio. Because I'm in the chair, and plus I'm not pushing myself, I have a power chair, so I make sure I get at least that.
So to help stabilize the chair, I might take things like free weights or blocks and wedge them at the front of the wheels as well as the back of the wheels to keep the chair in place. The wrist hook is really nice because it's typically available in most gyms, but particularly useful if you're doing any sort of exercises with a bar. Perhaps if you're doing a single arm row with a handle attachment, that also works with the wrist hooks as well.
Do you want a strap at all?
So chest straps can be helpful when exercising with an SCI to help stabilize, especially if an individual doesn't have that core stability. For example, if we're pulling a pulley, we're not worried about the body pulling forward as at the same time. The chest strap there can help stabilize and allow the individual to do the exercise as it's meant to be done. What's nice about the gripping gloves is you're a little easier and more fluid to transfer from machine to machine. One important disadvantage to the gripping gloves is they can be expensive. They're about $200 for a set of 2.
The active hands and the weightlifting hooks I would use primarily for exercises like rows where I'm pulling back and my grip is certainly compromised in that way. I've just gone on and bought my own just so I have use of them whenever I want and can get used to my own.
Block, similar to how we use in yoga, is to help stabilize different postures. Perhaps we're having difficulty with the legs splaying too far out, so you might want to add the block to the side of the leg to help the lower body stay more secure when we're doing our exercises.
4.5 years, okay.
I'm not going to say posture is a problem that's particular to just people with spinal cord injury, but typically we do see a sort of rounding of the shoulders forward. So posturally, we're thinking about providing those cues to sit upright, keep the shoulders down and back, are some important postural cues that we provide. Another thing to consider with exercising with a spinal cord injury is that you don't have to go to a fancy gym. There are a lot of things that you can do right at home. For example, doing things like resistance band exercises at home, relatively inexpensive pieces of equipment you can do just about any exercise with.
Being able to come to a gym where you know you're going to be comfortable, you're going to be able to work out, you're going to have people that can help you there, both with just accessing machines and even with knowledge on exercise it's invaluable.